Imagine a place where streets are filled with the sound of footsteps and bicycle bells instead of honking horns. A city where the air is fresh, the skyline is clear, and people roam freely without the noise and pollution of cars. Believe it or not, there is such a place. Welcome to Venice, Italy, the only city in the world where cars are truly banned. Today, we're diving deep into the story of Venice to understand the magic, the practicality, and the everyday challenges of living in a car-free city. Stay tuned as we explore why Venice is unlike any other place on the planet. A brief history of Venice and its unique structure. The story of Venice dates back to the 5th century, when people began fleeing to the islands of the Venetian lagoon to escape invasions on the Italian mainland. They settled on small, marshy islands, gradually building a city by creating a network of canals and waterways. Instead of constructing typical roads, Venetians built canals and walkways, laying the groundwork for a city without cars centuries before cars were even invented. By the time the Renaissance rolled around, Venice was a powerful maritime empire and a centre of trade, culture and innovation. The canals allowed for easy movement of goods and people, making Venice one of the wealthiest cities in Europe. Boats became the primary mode of transport, and as the city grew, so did its labyrinthine network of canals and narrow pedestrian streets. Today, Venice's structure remains largely the same as it was centuries ago. The city is built on 118 small islands, connected by more than 400 bridges and crisscrossed by 177 canals. This unique setup makes it impossible for cars to function here. Even if there was enough space for cars, which there isn't, the city's centuries-old infrastructure couldn't support them. Instead, Venetians have embraced a lifestyle where boats and walking take centre stage. Navigating Venice without cars. So how do people actually get around in Venice? With cars off the table, transportation in Venice revolves around 3 main options: walking, boating and cycling. First and foremost, Venice is a pedestrian's paradise. Its compact size and well-maintained walkways make it easy to navigate on foot. The winding alleys, or calli, lead to hidden squares, or campi, where locals and tourists alike can stroll and explore. Walking is more than just a means of getting from point A to B, it's a key part of the Venetian experience. Every turn reveals new views of canals, centuries-old buildings and bustling cafes. For longer journeys, Venetians rely on boats. Venice has a sophisticated water transport system, including water taxis, vaporettos, water buses and gondolas. The Vaporetto network functions much like a public bus system, with routes that crisscross the city's canals and provide a reliable way for people to travel longer distances. Water taxis, while more expensive, offer a faster and more private mode of travel. While cycling isn't common within Venice due to narrow alleys and numerous bridges, bicycles are allowed on the outer islands like Lido, where there is more space. For those travelling to and from the mainland, trains and buses connect Venice with nearby cities, with visitors arriving at Piazzale Roma, the last point where motorised vehicles are allowed before stepping into Venice's car-free zone. Venice's lack of cars isn't just about its physical structure, it's deeply embedded in the city's culture and way of life. Here, the rhythms of daily life move a little slower, and the lack of cars adds to the city's peaceful, timeless charm. The benefits of a car-free city. Without cars, Venice enjoys a variety of benefits that other cities can only dream of. One of the most obvious is the lack of air and noise pollution. With no exhaust emissions from cars, Venice's air quality is significantly better than in most other cities, which is especially valuable in such a densely packed area. This cleaner air has positive effects on public health, with lower rates of respiratory issues and other pollution-related diseases among residents. Noise pollution is also minimal. Instead of the constant hum of engines and honking horns, the city resonates with the sounds of water lapping against buildings, conversations echoing through narrow alleys, and the occasional bell from a passing boat. This quieter atmosphere contributes to Venice's tranquil and relaxed ambience. Venice's unique layout and car-free environment also promotes a more active lifestyle. With walking as the primary mode of transport, residents tend to be healthier. Walking everywhere, whether it's to the market, school or work, means that physical activity is naturally integrated into daily routines. Finally, the absence of cars has preserved Venice's historic architecture and character. While many cities have had to adapt their old streets to accommodate vehicles, Venice's pedestrian-friendly layout has allowed its narrow alleys, squares and ancient bridges to remain largely unchanged for centuries. The challenges of a car-free city. However, living in a car-free city isn't without its challenges. One of the biggest issues Venetians face is accessibility. Without cars, everything, groceries, furniture, building materials, and even trash, has to be transported by hand or boat. Deliveries are more complicated and often slower than in other cities, as goods have to be unloaded from boats and then carried through the narrow alleys. Emergency services face unique challenges as well. Ambulances and fire trucks can't drive to a scene. Instead, Venice has water ambulances and fireboats. These services are highly trained to navigate the city's waterways, but they can still be slowed down by crowded canals or obstacles. While the system works, it does make emergency response times longer in some cases, a factor Venetians have had to adapt to. Venice's aging infrastructure is another significant challenge. Rising sea levels due to climate change are causing more frequent and severe floods, which threaten the city's foundations. With buildings and walkways constantly exposed to water, maintaining the city's structural integrity requires ongoing efforts and innovative engineering solutions, such as the MOSE project, a massive barrier system designed to protect Venice from high tides. Tourism and its impact on Venice's car-free lifestyle. One of the greatest challenges Venice faces today is the impact of mass tourism. With over 20 million visitors per year, tourism has put immense pressure on Venice's infrastructure. Tourists flock to Venice to experience its unique car-free lifestyle, but their presence brings complications. The city's narrow streets and canals often become crowded, making it difficult for locals to move freely. To address these issues, the Venetian government has implemented measures to control tourism. For example, in recent years, Venice introduced an entrance fee for day trippers. This fee aims to limit overcrowding and generate funds for maintaining the city's infrastructure. The city has also restricted the size of cruise ships allowed to dock near Venice, as their waves can damage the fragile foundations of the buildings. While these measures help, the tension between preserving Venice's heritage and accommodating tourism remains. Tourism is essential to Venice's economy, but it must be balanced with the needs of residents to maintain the quality of life that makes Venice so unique. Why Venice's car-free model works and might not work everywhere. Venice's car-free model has inspired urban planners worldwide, but replicating it is easier said than done. Venice's success as a car-free city is due in large part to its physical structure. Being built on islands with a network of canals naturally limits car access. In most cities, completely banning cars would be nearly impossible due to their layout and reliance on road-based infrastructure. However, Venice's model does offer lessons that other cities can adopt. For instance, pedestrian-only zones in urban centres, increased public transportation options, and policies that discourage car use can make cities more sustainable, quieter and healthier. Cities like Amsterdam and Copenhagen have successfully integrated car-free areas, inspired in part by the example Venice has set. Despite its limitations, Venice's car-free approach demonstrates the potential of urban spaces designed for people, not vehicles. It's a model that celebrates human-scale interactions, walkability, and a slower, more sustainable pace of life. For Venice, banning cars wasn't a choice, it was a necessity. But it's become an essential part of the city's identity and charm. what the future holds for Venice. As Venice looks to the future, it faces both challenges and opportunities. Climate change remains one of the biggest threats, with rising sea levels and frequent floods endangering the city's foundations. The MOSE project, an ambitious plan to install a series of barriers to protect Venice from high tides, is a step towards safeguarding the city. However, long-term solutions will require global efforts to combat climate change and protect vulnerable coastal cities. The influx of tourism will also require continued management. As more people seek out experiences in car-free cities, Venice will need to balance preserving its heritage with maintaining its appeal as a travel destination. With the world watching, Venice has an opportunity to lead by example, demonstrating how cities can protect their unique identity while embracing sustainable practices. If you found this journey through Venice inspiring, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more explorations into the world's most unique cities. Would you like to see more cities go car-free? Could you imagine living in a place like Venice? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.